Hey everybody, welcome to another monthly recap of what I watched in July. Here are some movies I will recommend you to watch, then I will tell you if they're worth watching. If you don't care, it's fine, and I'm here to tell my opinions on this movie. So let's start off. First, what I watched in July was the movie Annihilation. Annihilation is a first time watch for me. So Annihilation is about Lena, a biologist and former soldier, joins a mission to uncover what happened to her husband inside Area X, a sinister and mysterious phenomenon that is expanding across the American coastline. Once inside, the expedition discovers a world of mutated landscapes and creatures as dangerous as it is beautiful and threatens both their lives and their sanity. So I already said this is a first time watch for me, and after watching it I really like this movie. The visuals in here look good, they look absolutely amazing. The creatures and landscapes really looked amazing as well. Some of them looked frightening and they just looked creepy, but I like that. The soundtrack in here, the score, I think it's a great. The cast in here is pretty well too. I ended up enjoying all of them. The movie did a really good job with scaring me with that one bear scene that mimics your voice. That one scene where they find the footage of some soldiers cutting the stomach of a guy, and inside of him we just see this slithering flesh inside of him that really looked frightening. But everything in this movie really looks good. The visuals, the cinematography, the score, everything in this movie looks very well. It is unsettling and it is thrilling. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. I think it's amazing. Next movie I watched in the month of July was Nimona. So the movie is about a knight is framed for a crime he didn't commit, and the only person who can help him prove his innocence is Nimona, a shape-shifting teen who might also be a monster he's sworn to kill. And I really do like this movie a lot. I love the bonding of the soldier and Nimona. They both were really great in this movie. The animation here looks very well. The antagonist in here is great because the antagonist, the director, was the one who framed Ballister for the crime he didn't commit, and him and this shape-shifting monster teen team up together, and it was just a great film. I really think it was epic and it was bold. Really loved everything about this movie. So I'll be giving it a 7 out of 10 personally, but I do think it's a great film that's on Netflix that you should watch. Next, after I watched Deadpool. Deadpool is a movie that I really enjoy a lot. The character Deadpool is also an enjoyable character who is very fun and very violent. Deadpool is at the end of the day my very much favorite movie ever. The action in this movie is pretty well. The action scenes, the fighting scenes, everything looks good. The story is very well too. It's also a pretty funny movie that I really do like. I really don't have that much to say about this movie other than I love it. Nor I have anything negative about it. It is my favorite movie of all. Well, not my favorite movie of all. I mean, it is a very good, fun, enjoyable movie. So I'm giving Deadpool an 8 out of 10. It's worth rewatching every time I rewatch it. It's fun. Next, after I watched Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice has been my favorite movie since I was a kid. I would rewatch it all the time. I would never get tired of it. I love how this movie is actually created between the real world and the small world. The characters in here are are okay. I mean, some of them were unlikable, some of them I just really like seem annoyed of, but I think they were all pretty great characters because they were played by really good actors that really put a lot of effort into their roles. I really love all the scary, spooky vibes that I get from this. The horror makeup in this movie is very well, and I love all the scary costuming that really made this movie like scary for me. But rewatching Beetlejuice is still a great movie. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Then after I watch Instructions Not Included. Instructions Not Included is about an irresponsible playboy must grow up quickly when a former lover gives him their daughter to raise, then leaves without a trace. So this is a Spanish foreign movie that has Eugenio Derbez, which is my favorite actor. So everybody in this movie is pretty well. I love the story in this movie about this guy who spends time with his daughter. Really lots of good scenes in here that did kind of felt heartwarming. The movie is hilarious. The comedy in here is very well. I mean, if you understand Spanish or if you already know Spanish, this movie really works, but if you don't, then I really don't think this movie is gonna work at all. The ending is pretty good. It did make me kind of emotional. I mean, it is an emotional movie that honestly almost got me to tears. But I think it is a really good movie. I really love this movie. I'm giving this movie like a 9 out of 10. I really love it a lot. Then I watched DC League of Pets, DC League of Super Pets, if that's how you say it. DC League of Super Pets is like probably like the DC version of the pets, the animals. You know, I think this movie is okay. It's not good, but it's okay. Some of the comedy in here was really dry. I mean, it wasn't good. Like, the whole movie was basically like a generic superhero plot, like, this dog who's Superman's pet has powers. They need to give this kind of crystal that makes everybody powerless away from Superman and the others. The other dogs in the animal shelter get superpowers. This one rodent guinea pig, I don't know what she was, kind of turns into like a villain and teams up with the villain of Superman, who I don't know who he was. So, you know, I really don't think I have that anything good or anything bad to say about this movie. I think it's okay. I'm just gonna probably give this movie like a 5 out of 10. Then I watched The Titanic, which is my first time watching again. First time watching. So we all know The Titanic, it is basically a true thing that happened. It was created by James Cameron, who has done the Avatar movies. So yeah, I really think I love The Titanic. Like, I really love this movie, even though I was like expecting not to love it or enjoy it. I really loved it. Okay, the movie did kind of made me emotional. The relationship between Rose and Jack were really amazing. And you know, I think this is a pretty good movie. I really don't have anything that bad about it to say it. But yeah, I think this movie is like well directed, great actors. I'm giving this movie a 10 out of 10. Then after I watched the Barbie movie, you all probably know I've done a review of that movie, and I really do enjoy this movie a lot. Like, I think it is a unique kind of film that's not like something you've seen before. I mean, it is based on the IP of Barbie, but you know, Barbie having a story in this movie and basically like going through troubles and having not everything toned to kid friendly is pretty much like what I really enjoyed about this movie. Even though some of the humor was good, some of the humor was stale, I appreciate the settings and the wardrobe in here. Every actor in this movie did a really great job. The character Alan also did a very good job. I really don't know why I didn't credit him in my review movie of the Barbie, but I do appreciate watching this movie. It really wasn't that bad even. I give it a 10 out of 10. Then I watched The Flash, the new recent Flash movie. That was a pretty big box office disaster. But I'm not here to talk about box office or anything. I really just came here to talk about what I think of the movie. First of all, the CGI in here looks very, very horrible. There's like a part where the Flash does some time travel with the running, and everything in there just looks so bad. All the action fighting scenes of Supergirl I think were great. The Batman fighting scenes I think were really good as well. And let me say this, I'm not a big fan of Ezra Miller. I mean, I've heard he's done bad stuff that is very unforgivable, but I really don't know what he did. Whatever he did, I really don't like him at all. I'm not a huge fan of him or anything. The movie's humor and comedy really isn't that great. So I'm just giving The Flash like a 6 out of 10. I don't find it boring or anything. It's not bad, it's not great, but it is enjoyable. Then finally I watched Oppenheimer. So the movie is filled with lots of really good scenes and cinematography, really good acting, and really good score, and a really good backstory and the story of Oppenheimer, the scientist who created this bomb. The movie made me feel a lot after the movie ended. I walked away really enjoying this movie so much. The actors in here were fabulous and everything. Throughout the movie, I kind of was drifting away from it because some scenes were not really that interesting, but during the movie, I started to drift back in because I really started to feel more excitement in this movie. So that's it about Oppenheimer. I'm giving it 9.5 out of 10. I find it enjoyable, it is entertaining, and I really should recommend you this movie. And that's about it. So that's it for my monthly recap of what I watched in the month of July. If you watched any of these movies, let me know what you thought of them, or will you plan on going to watch them? Leave your opinions down below. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed what you watched. And I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.